Saturday, everybody. This is Chuck Schultz again with Patriot Builders, PFC, Michigan Sawmill Sales, and you are on the Post Frames Processors and Sawmills channel. Today I want to talk to you about a question I've been getting for the last month or so, and I think a lot of it has to do with, obviously, it's cold, it's winter. We're tired of the cold, right? I'm sure we're ready for some nice temperatures. And the barn dominium genre of build has a pretty big boost of energy in it the last couple of years, and it's becoming very popular. And because there's no regulations or no standards of these type of builds, there's a lot of people who are giving advice in good faith, but sometimes should not give that advice, because they're leaving a lot of information out, or maybe they don't know the information that they should be giving out with it. And that topic of heating your floor. And, we build a Michigan pole barn home. That is the barn dominium type genre home that we build. It's our trademark. And there is something that we do at our standard in a Michigan pole barn home, regardless if there's in-floor heat or not. We insulate the floor as if we were hydronically heating the floor, no matter what. Now, before I get into too much of this, that our floors are typically not cold. They are, even if you leave bare concrete in there, the floors are not going to be cold because of what we do with our energy envelope and how we insulate the floors, regardless if we do in-floor heat or not. So I look at the value of installing and the cost, a lot of things involved in that. It's not just, is it cheaper or more, less expensive, more expensive. I look at the cost, the return of investment, the comfort, all of these. There's a lot of things involved in dictating what value is and everybody has a different outlook on that. So what I like to try to tell people and explain to people, sure, we can heat your floor. But if you're doing this because somebody said you had to, and you're into the genre of building a barn dominium because you're trying to build the absolute cheapest possible house, not a good idea. That's not how almost 100% of the people that I deal with want air conditioning for the summertime. And so now you're putting in another system anyway. So now on your HVAC budget, you're almost doubling that budget. Some people like to go, oh, we'll just put mini splits or whatever in. Mini splits have a good place in the market. They're not bad systems. I'm not knocking them for what they are. Now, in new construction, I don't think mini splits I don't think that's the best way to go, so to speak, to solve a problem of having cool air. And if you're doing a heated floor, I still urge you to just do a forced air system, whether it's just a standard furnace and AC hookup. Just do it. You're going to get fresh air with that. Mini splits don't provide that. You're going to get air stratification. You're going to get air filtration, and in most cases, no need for added ERV measures. And so you can have the best of all worlds while having that heated floor. But again, you're going to have an HVAC, forced air system, and then you're also going to have the cost of that heated floor. So your heating and cooling budget is going to be kind of high. And your return of investment, like if you do a Michigan pole barn home, our energy envelope is so good. That extends that return of investment for fuel consumption and everything for heating your home, because it is more efficient to heat the home eventually with a heated floor. But at our energy envelope, that just elongates that return of investment. So if you're looking at a value standpoint of returning your investment on your energy costs, I don't think it's a good buy. Again, if you're looking to build comfort, a heated floor hands down, is the way to go. Um, but it's going to come with a cost to be done properly, and making sure we keep track of our fresh air. Because remember, when we just do a heated floor, and then you get the person going, "Oh, I'm just going to put mini splits in for air conditioning later, or to add supplemental heat for if I ever need it." Well, it doesn't give you any fresh air, and it's still an expense to put those mini splits in. Doesn't give you any fresh air. It doesn't filter your air really. It doesn't stratify. I mean, all it does is move. It tempers the air. Yeah. And that's pretty much all it does. Again, I'm not claiming to be an HVAC expert. I just know that there's probably a better way to attack that problem. And if you just want to have the best outgoing cost and comfort, my suggestion is to just do what we do normally, which is insulate the entire floor, whether or not we're putting in, no hydronic heat. We're going to insulate the floor as if we were. That's what we do as a standard. And put a forced air system in. You don't need a specialty contractor to service that furnace later on in the future. It's pretty much a standard set. And you can get air conditioning, heat, and you're golden. And if you do some of the things that we do, some of the tricks that we do and we have done in the past, it almost gives the illusion of a heated floor, because that floor will be tempered because we isolate it from the ground temperature. At 6 foot below the surface, the ground temperature is said to be an average of 55 degrees. And depending on where you are in the climate in the world, that from 6 foot to the surface, there's a different ground temperature at that point, wherever you are at the world. Like right now, it's frozen here. It's cold. We're in Michigan. So we're fighting back a lot of coldness. So our code requires us to insulate just a certain amount of buffer in from the exterior wall if we're on a slab on grade, and then down a little bit. We have a certain amount that we have to do. So if we just treat it as if we were heating that floor anyway and isolate that entire concrete slab from trying to acclimate or equalize from your interior air temperature on the surface and above, on average you're hoping to be about 68, 70, and a ground temperature of about 54 degrees. But that 54 degrees is realistically at 6 foot. Now you get closer to that exterior wall, that ground can be 54, 50 degrees, when you get closer to that edge. So remember, the best your floor will ever be is, somewhere, in the middle between 70 and 54 degrees. That is the best if you don't insulate the entire thing. But if you isolate that floor, yes, you're going to spend some money. 2-inch rigid foam is not cheap. You're going to spend some money doing it, but it's a lot cheaper than heating the floor. And it's got a return of investment, kind of, because you're making the home more efficient. So it's money well spent for good bones of the house. And so what will happen is, usually once we start conditioning the home and activate the HVAC system as the home's being built, and we start conditioning climate, we try to climatize the home, probably in about 3 months, maybe 6 tops, that floor acclimates to the air temperature that's touching it, because it's the only thing that it's correcting to. So because it can't acclimate to the 54 degree ground temperature below it, it's only acclimating to the airspace that's touching it above. And sometimes we bring the heats in the ceiling and bring them down the exterior walls and wash the floor. It actually still does create a heat sink and the illusion of a warm floor. So even if we don't wash the heat on the floors are not going to be cold. When people go into their basements or to their garage barefoot in a normal home, you're going to have the illusion of that floor being ice cold or very chilled. In our Michigan pole barn homes, at a standard that it's room temperature, and that's how you do it. So I think it's a good trade-off. If it's not in the budget to do things the way it should be with a hydronically heated floor, to just insulate the floor, and you're going to have better comfort. It won't be the luxury of a heated floor, but it definitely will not be cold. So I'm going to turn the camera around here, and I want to kind of show you a little bit real quick. I'm going to try to make it short and sweet. It's crude. I'm on the whiteboard here, and I got a little overlay I'm going to kind of draw on it a little bit. But I want to kind of show you the dynamic of what I'm talking about. We're at about 10 minutes, so I'll try to make it quick. So let me swap. All right, so right here I got, here's our Michigan pole barn home. It's crude. And again, I draw a lot better than this, people. So right about here, this line, the squiggly line, is reference of that 6 foot below the surface of the ground. So right here is really where your 55-degree year-round ground temperature rides. Now, if it's 20 degrees Fahrenheit out here, obviously that frost is trying to penetrate down here. Our frost line is at 42 inches, our code here in our area of Michigan. Now, frost usually generally when it comes into this time of year, we get down into a couple of feet, and hopefully it doesn't go too much. Sometimes we do get down to that 30, 40 plus inches of frost in the ground, and but those are some really cold years. So as we do this, what we do is we take a little insulation. We go, this one isn't that necessary, but we do a little insulation right here, usually when the municipalities make us, but our entire, from right here on the edge grade board and the concrete, and then we do 2-inch rigid under this entire slab right here. So we're isolating the concrete from touching any of the cold dirt or 55-degree temperature dirt, because right now this squiggly line right here is going to start pressing up in the center of the home and then down, because as this cold temperatures are coming in here. Now in the summertime this may flex out and this is all warm, but in the wintertime when it gets brutally cold, you'll see some of that coldness penetrate in here, and you might be 45, 50 degrees right here in this area here, and then right in here, this area of 55 degrees starts pressing up. So, but when we isolate right here, the concrete floor can only acclimate to the air temperature. Now, if we have the thermostat set at 68 and it's roughly 4 or 5 feet off the ground, 9-foot ceilings, you're going to be 70, 71 up at the ceiling. You're going to be about 66 degrees on the floor. So basically this concrete will eventually be 66 degrees. So I think that is a great alternative to heating your floor if you can't afford to do it right or properly or in the best manner, to try to keep, because remember, in our Michigan pole barn homes, we're going to have an R28 in the walls, air barrier. We're going to have a broken thermal bridge. There's going to be no thermal bridging in our walls. You're going to have at least an R48 to 50 in the ceiling at our standard. So this is going to be a very comfortable home. So I just wanted to show you guys why it's not always, pay attention to the Facebook people, and you got to heat your floors. There is a right and a wrong way to do it. Obviously, the professionals have probably, the guys in the actual field are probably going to have a couple of pointers on what I'm telling you. But that is just something you don't want to mess with. When you do it wrong, you mess with your indoor air quality, and you can mess with the health of your home. And those are some big mistakes. So I hope this kind of helps you understand. That's probably my quick, crude overview at what we do at our standards of our Michigan pole barn homes. Do we heat the floors sometimes? Oh yeah, and it's a nice thing to do. I know you would enjoy it. It is very comfortable, but at the end of the day, there's got to be a cost-benefit analysis you got to figure out and do, and find out where that is, where that crosses, and that's where you find your value. If your value is more on the comfort side of things and you have a little bit better in your budget, then yeah, it makes sense for you to do that. Everybody has a different target. Everybody has a different plan of what they're going to do. Again, if it's all about dollars and cents output, your complete investment into getting into a home, a heated floor may not be what you want to do. It may be what you want to do, but it may not be right for your wallet. If comfort is your big thing and you have a little bit more room in the budget, then yeah, definitely roll towards that heated floor. Again, my preferred method when we do a heated floor is I like to do a heated floor with a standard forced air system that gives you your air conditioning, your air stratification, your filtering, and it still gives you fresh air makeup. And pretty much, I mean, some HVAC guys out there, the best ones are probably still going to tell you need to ERV it when you make these homes this tight, but there's still the possibility you don't have to do any ERV because of that, because of the HVAC, the forced air system. So anyway, I've ran on long enough, guys. Thanks for listening, and subscribe to the channel, and please give me any questions you might want to learn about with a barn-dominium or post frame or Michigan pole barn home. If you want to know anything else about the nuts and bolts, please comment. Thank you. Subscribe and have a great Saturday.